Hello, fourth graders. It's Miss Leon here, and we're going on to our next step in our informational writing. So far, we have written our chapters 1 and our chapters 2. We have decided if we're going to organize our information into categories or put things in a chronological type order. After that, we have spent some time on elaborating on our ideas. We asked ourselves, what would interest the reader? What might the reader need to know more about? Or what information could be confusing to our reader? Now our next steps are where we are going to look for the key important words that we have already put in our writing, and we're going to decide which ones need to be put in bold, because those are going to be the ones that we are going to add into our glossary at the end. And we're also going to be going in and adding transitional words into our writing. So let's go ahead and I have a few things to look at for you to remind you what you should be looking at to help yourself along. And then I'm going to give you an example. All right, so I went ahead and I pulled up my writing checklist. And if you look in this checklist, we've done these kinds of checklists before where you are going to be rereading your paper step by step, and you're going to be answering if you do have this information, that's a yes, if you're starting to do it or not yet. So I have these questions for both chapter 1 and chapter 2. So for chapter 1, it says, who was in the American Revolution? If you notice, I have the who, where, why, when questions. So I went and I looked into my chapter 1, and I had not added this. This is what I had. It said the American Revolution did not just happen overnight. It is something that kept building over a period of time. Many colonists were upset by things that King George, the King of Great Britain, did to them. And after a while, they got mad enough that they started to think that they should have their own country. Okay, that's not telling you who was involved. I mean, it's giving you the idea. So I went back in and I answered that question straight away. The American Revolution was a war between the British American colonies and the country of Great Britain. That is telling you who this is about specifically. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at my checklist, and I'm going to make sure that I'm answering these questions specifically within my chapter 1. So there is no question about what I am talking about, what I am describing. I need to ask myself, did I organize my chapters? Did I do it by chronological order or by categories? I look back at my chapter. I do see that I have it organized. I have the French and Indian War. That's a subtopic or subheading. And I see taxes. Yes, it is organized. I can mark yes. Then when I look at my checklist, I said, do your sections have subheadings? They absolutely do. I have that already bolded and sectioned out. Then it says, did I elaborate? That was part of yesterday's work. That work that you are asking about in your elaboration, did you add that in the appropriate places into your writing? Are you putting that information in? In fact, that who, what, where, why, when questioning up at the top right here would be supporting that elaboration. You need to make sure that you are making your writing stronger. The next thing is, did you bold important keywords? As I'm looking a minute ago, I just reread and I know that colonists is an important word. That is an important word to this. How do I know that? I'm going to go back into my Google Classroom assignment for this, and I'm going to find a document, and I'm going to show you where that document is, the list of those important words. In my Google Classroom, I found my assignment. I clicked on it, the informational writing piece, and has all of these attachments. These attachments I have the important words to know. That's the PDF. I'm uploading that and I'm just looking. I see colony, colonies. I'm going to think that colonists is important. I can look at this. This is supposed to help me. So that way I know what words could or maybe should be bolded. So I highlighted that, or not highlighted, but I bolded that. All right. I even looked through and I highlighted French and Indian War. I'm just going to go back and forth and I'm going to look through here and I'm just going to see if any of these words that are on this list are possibly mentioned in my writing. And if so, that's an easy way to know what words need to be highlighted. So I see tax or taxes. So I'm going to go back in here and I have the word tax, taxes actually. And I'm going to make sure that I bold that. All right, I don't need to bold it every time I see it. I just need to make sure I bold it the first time I see it. So that way, the first time I see it, I know to look it up in the glossary. And then after that, I should be able to know what that is. All right, then after that, you need to be adding transitional words and phrases. If you're confused about what those transitional words and phrases are, again, I also have a link to that in here. And here is some transitional words and phrases. You need to go back into your writing and you need to make sure that you are adding these into your writing. I might look in the section with illustration. That means that I'm going to be showing something. So I'm going to look in here and I am going to just quickly skim over this and I'm going to add some of those phrases and I'll show you those when I find them. So I've gone through here and I've reread some of my writing and I decided to add a few transitional words within my writing. Before it said the American Revolution did not just happen overnight, it is something that kept building over time. I added this transitional phrase because it fits in well here. In other words, comma, many colonists, that does not need to be capitalized, the word many colonists were upset by things that King George, the King of Great Britain, did to them. And after a while, they got mad enough that they started to think they should have their own country. So I added this. I also came down here and started reading, and I noticed, you know, again, some transitional words and phrases needed to be added in here. It starts with the French and Indian War was the first thing that started the American Revolution. I used the word although, and then I added brand new text. The war was not between the colonies and the British because that can be confusing. So I wanted to elaborate. It was, I need to take this, it was between Britain and French. So I am adding these transitional words. I'm making sure that I'm adding them in orange because I want those to stand out. I would encourage you to do the same. So anyway, today that's what your mission is. You are going to be using your editing and revision checklist, and you're going to be making sure that these certain key elements are included. I would like you to really reread that. Mark if you do not have things, if you're starting to have some things, if you definitely, yes, have it. If not, then, you know, we're going to start from there. We're going to start making sure that some of our key important words are bolded inside our chapters so that we know that at the end, those words will have been defined in our glossary. And then we're going to be adding those transitional words. It's better to start that now within those first two chapters than wait to the end of our writing. So let's begin and do that in chapter 1 and 2. And then we're just going to take this bit by bit. Can't wait to see what you do.